Good morning. Welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Wednesday, January the 8th, and we're here to look at the new releases that have been published this week. And on Wednesdays, we look at romance. And the usual announcements, we don't have any sprints tonight, not on Wednesday nights. Our next sprints are tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. They go for 2.5 hours. And we do those 3 times a week. Hope you had a good night. Good morning, Mary. How are you doing? Happy Wednesday and hump day. Finally made it. Yeah, that's okay, honey. Hope you're feeling much better. I'm on the mend. It is progressing in the right direction. Thank you very much. All right, so we are looking at romance. Now, this first one this type always catches my attention because you always have such high hopes because it looks like a fun Indiana Jones type of romance, and they always let you down. But you never know. Maybe this one won't. This is Temple of Swoon by Joe Segura. Her mission, find the lost city of the moon in the Amazon rainforest. His mission, protect the holy temple and his heart. While her mentor may be the world's most badass archaeologist, the only thing bad about Dr. Miriam Jacobs are her corny jokes. But when Miri is charged with leading an unmapped expedition through the Amazon for the fabled lost city of the moon, she finally has her chance to prove to her colleagues that she's capable and hopefully prove it to herself, too. Journalist Raphael Malfi has joined the archaeological team to chronicle their search for the lost city, or at least that's what they think he's doing. Rafa's real goal? Make sure the team does not reach the Cidade de Lua, stopping the desecration of the holy city and protecting his mother's legacy. All he needs to do is keep them on the wrong path. If only the endearingly quirky Dr. Jacobs wasn't so damn tenacious. Each of Rafa's tricks and purposeful wrong turns only seem to fuel her determination. Even worse, he's charmed by her goofy attempts to channel Lara Croft as they traverse the dangerous Brazilian rainforest. But they're not the only crew hunting for the lost city, and soon the untamed jungle and their untamed hearts might be the least of their worries. How are you doing, Mary? Are you staying warm? When is that furnace getting fixed? The Lodge by Kayla Olson. Alex Morgan just got her big break as the ghostwriter of a memoir by Sebastian Green, a former member of the boy band True North. And when he offers her a penthouse at a luxurious resort in Vermont, she jumps at the chance to work far away from her noisy, cramped apartment. Her career as an entertainment journalist has been building toward this dream job. After all, she used to cover True North and was one of the last people to interview former frontman Jet Beckett before he disappeared. As she combs through her clients' voice memos, the specter of the missing lead singer remains, and fans are desperate to know the full story. But Alex also has time for some fun at this glamorous resort where she begins ski lessons with a handsome instructor named Tyler. As Alex and Tyler fall in love on the slopes, Alex's work takes a complicated turn, and the mystery of True North's downfall may be hers to solve. Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams, third in the When in Rome series. I know that one's popular. Emily Walker hates having her carefully crafted world disrupted by anyone, most of all her legendary nemesis Jack Bennett. He's the opposite of the wonderful heroes she dreams up in her double life as a romance writer, which is why Emily was perfectly happy when Jack left Rome, Kentucky mid-school year with his fiancée. The last thing Emily saw coming was Jack's return at the start of the summer after calling off the wedding and ending his relationship, but he's here to stay as her colleague and her neighbor. Jack is glad to be back, eager to renovate his house and work on the next mystery novel under his best-selling pen name. But when he realizes he's now neighbors with the one woman who has always pushed his buttons, he discovers something he's even more excited about, thwarting Emily and her petty plans to sabotage his return. With their chemistry-fueled animosity at an all-time high, Emily accidentally sends an email to their school's principal that could reveal her secret literary side hustle. She needs to steal back her manuscript, and Jack, she hates to admit it, is just the man to help her. Surprisingly, he agrees. Will their unlikely alliance put an end to their rivalry, or could it lead to a steamy plot twist they never saw coming? Okay, so all is well. We haven't been plowed, so there's still about 9 to 10 inches on the ground, so I'm not going anywhere. No problem, really, a small bite of heaven to stay home. Very true. Yeah, they don't plow our, definitely not our subdivision, because we're outside city limits. So that's a slog to get through, and the side streets to get to the park that I drive on. But today is very, very windy, so that is adding a fun element. We actually have a winter weather advisory for the wind today. Yay. And the weird thing is this snow is very dry. It's a very powdery snow, so that will be fun, I'm sure, for people driving on the interstate and so forth. For One Night Only, Glitter Bats, #1 by Jessica James. When two former bandmates and bedmates are thrust back into each other's lives in a fake dating scheme for publicity, they'll be forced to face the music. The tagline above that is Glitter Bats reunion concert sold out. After her recurring role in tabloid headlines, Valerie Quinn's musical TV show is on the network chopping block. Desperate for good press, she hastily reassembles her wildly beloved pop punk band Glitter Bats. A reunion concert could be the former lead vocalist's ticket to a media makeover, especially if it renews public speculation around her iconic situationship with bassist I'm having problems with words. Caleb Sloan. Yeah, seeking fame is a good way to have a relationship. The only problem? They haven't spoken in 6 years. Caleb had the makings of a rock god, but fallout from the messy Glitter Bats breakup left him broke, anxious, and resentful of the industry. But when Valerie shows up at Caleb's doorsteps with that devastating smile and a plea for help, he reluctantly agrees to put on one last show. But what if the fandom assumes the two of them are back together too? They'll play along, you know, for the press. Making music together not only revives the harmony between them, but also the discord that led to the band's downfall. With their futures and the Glitter Bats in the balance, can they survive a romantic reprise? And #1. Oh, Jenny Holiday has a new one, Into the Woods. Expecting more snow this weekend, not as much as last time, maybe only 1 to 3. Yeah, I think we are also expecting some maybe tonight. I know, but apparently they have found the younger generation is prefers to have the cartoony stuff. I know the old bugaboo of not judging a book by its cover, but unfortunately I do. Everybody does. You know, that's what draws your attention and why they pay so much money for covers. But it's Gen Z. Gretchen Miller is a bit of a badass, but even badasses get the blues when it comes to romance, and Gretchen could use a break from dating. So when she gets the offer to be the summer dance instructor at Camp Wild Arts, she leaps at the chance to embrace clean air, nature, and her inner crone. Right. But every forest has pests, and the biggest one at Wild Arts is none other than Tennyson Teddy Knight. The A, arrogant, B, infuriating, C, kind of hot if it weren't for A and B, rock star, who happens to be Gretchen's fellow artist in residence. Rock stars must be the bingo for the day. Fresh off his band's epic and ultra-public breakup, Teddy's grouchier than a black bear in spring, and Gretchen is happy to ignore the unexpected heat she feels around him. Yet, a wary friendship blooms, and before she knows it, Gretchen finds herself sneaking around to have one last summer fling with the broody musician before she swears off men for good. But as they grow closer, Gretchen has to figure out if she's ready to take the summer camp romance out of the woods and into real life. She's a dancer, but the chick on the cover does not look like she has a dancer body. That's all I'm going to say. All the Missing Pieces by Catherine Cowles. This is a romantic suspense. Sometimes the last thing you expect is exactly what you need, the final missing piece. And sometimes it comes in the form of a towering, broody sheriff determined to get in your way at every step. Ridley Sawyer knows what it's like to miss someone, to feel like a piece of her vanished because it happened to her the night her twin sister disappeared. Now Ridley channels that loss into hope, traveling the country covering cold cases for her true crime podcast. She might not have found justice for her sister, but that doesn't stop her from finding it for others, until Sheriff Coulter Brooks gets in her way. I wonder if they tell new sheriffs when they're being sworn in, now be careful, women will fall in love with you. It's just, it happens. Colt knows what it's like to have reporters descend on his town in the wake of a tragedy, and he's not about to let a fiery podcaster stir up trouble. It doesn't matter that her haunting blue eyes tell him there's more to Ridley's story, or that he can't stop imagining what it would be like to touch her. But when Ridley's cold case turns hot and she's thrust into the crosshairs, Colt has no choice but to step in. Suddenly, Ridley's living at his house, drinking his whiskey and stealing his dog's affections. But she's also proving that she's so much more than his first impression. And as they get closer to the truth, the game they've been playing might just turn deadly. Dot, 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 dot. Yeah, they give the new sheriffs badges and say, now, here's a stick because you're going to be beating him off. Oh, Mary, pretty dress alert. Lord Ravenscroft is not a gentleman. 6th in the Victorian Outcast series by Barbara Russell. Edith wants only one thing, to become a surgeon like her father. I know. It's just, when they put today's attitudes on a time period where these attitudes are usually, I'm just going to say usually, not a thing. Who has time to make friends when she has anatomy books to study? Who wants to go to a ball when she has medical conferences to attend? Peregrine, Perry to his friends, doesn't share her enthusiasm for books. He's the brother of the Earl of Ravenscroft, titled and powerful. Studying? Why would he need to study? He's the spare. With no title comes no responsibilities. But after they risk their lives on the sinking steamship Princess Alice, they start to reconsider their priorities. Edith tries to every pleasure London has to offer. Perry works hard to become a good earl after the title passes to him. Sudden seizures have plagued him since the incident, and he must keep his condition secret, not to be marked as deranged or worse, cursed, and locked up in an institution. Edith's hedonistic life comes to a grinding halt after the almost nude painting she posed for is bought by Perry, now Lord Ravenscroft. She's furious. The artist promised not to sell the compromising painting, and now she wants it back before a scandal ensues. Artists need to make money, honey. Perry proposes a deal. If she works for him as his secretary, he'll give her the painting, except their attraction may cause another scandal. So much there, so much there. But hey, the cover's pretty. Oh, we got another pretty dress. And his shirt's falling off. Regent Street Rogue, 6th in the Rakes of Rotten Row by Annabel Anders. He's the Duke of Scandal. She's the girl next door. Together they're about to upend the tulle. Lady Melanie Rutherford has spent the last year avoiding society's harsh glare. After a devastating family tragedy, she's become more comfortable in the shadows than in the spotlight until a scandal threatens to destroy her family for good. Desperate to protect her loved ones, she makes a shocking proposal to the Duke of Malum, a fake betrothal to quiet the gossips. The Duke of Malum thrives on defying society's expectations. With a mysterious past, a dangerous reputation, and a risque gentleman's club to his name, he's the last man anyone would expect to play hero. But when a baby is left on his doorstep and a determined young lady barges into his life, Malum finds himself entangled in more ways than one. With secrets mounting, an irate brother, and danger lurking around every corner, their charade transforms into something real. Will their heart's desires be extinguished, or can true love burn brighter than the flames of the past? End of that row. Mary Balog has a new one, and I did check. It is new. Yes, believe me, I noticed that kind of cover I enjoy. Indeed. Keo likes to eat the snow. I don't think he likes to hang out there a whole lot. He's definitely a sun baby. You wouldn't think looking at him, but he likes to lay in the sun. This is called Remember When, which is fourth in the Ravenswood series. And I love seeing your clip of your corgis in the snow. I loved it. The Dowager Countess of Stratton, Clarissa Ware, née Greenfield, has just presented her younger daughter to the tulle, and the rest of her life belongs only to herself. She returns to Ravenswood, intending to spend the summer alone there, but the summer has other plans for her. Born a gentleman, Matthew Taylor has chosen to spend his life as the village carpenter. Growing up, he and Clarissa were close, dangerously so, considering his family's modest fortune. As a young man, he never would have been a suitable match for the daughter of the wealthy Greenfields. Clarissa married Caleb Ware, the Earl of Stratton, so Matthew married another, though he was widowed soon after. Now everything is different. Clarissa has already lived the life expected of her by society, and Matthew is as attractive and intriguing as he was when they were young. As their summer friendship deepens into romance, they stand together on the precipice of change. Essentially, the same man and woman they remember being back then, but with renewed passion and the potential to take their lives in an entirely new direction. I could kind of get behind that. And on the opposite end of the spectrum is a book called Stay Toxic. Semyonov Bratva, Book 1. I'm familiar with Bratva because of the Arrow TV show. Just saying. This is by Lanny Lynn Vale. Excuse me. First in this series. It's called A Workplace Romance. I would suppose Bratva is a job. There was right, there was wrong, and then there was the in-between, the place where normal people reside, understanding that there are two sides to every coin. People that do bad things for good reasons, people that do bad things for bad reasons. First, I knew that Shasha Semenov was a bad man, one that did bad things for bad reasons. That didn't mean that I was rational when it came to him. He was toxic to my health, yet I wanted him anyway. They say the first step to healing is admitting that you have a problem. My problem happened to be 6 feet 2 inches tall, 220 pounds, and bearded to perfection. Oh, and he was also the scariest guy I knew. Meanwhile, I was the laughingstock of the city, the woman who was cheated on by her boyfriend with her best friend, and it was captured live while a band played in the background, perfectly accenting the humiliating video. There was no way that Shasha Semenov would notice me, right? Wrong. I'd definitely been noticed. Oh, am I? Was thinking the same thing, somewhat different theme. Indeed. And I have to say, I admit, I prefer the ballad book. As you get older, in my case anyway, I appreciate the appreciation of what love really is, and not the, oh, he's so hot. The Forever Rule by Carrie Ann Ryan, first in the Cage Family series. What happens when the man you'd thought could be the one turns out to be your boss? Blakely. The moment I met Aston Cage, I knew my life had changed. A single dance later, we're both all in, until he ghosted me. Then my boss fires me for dancing with the enemy. 3 months later, working for the Cages, that is a lawsuit, is my last resort. Now I'll work beside him day by day, trying not to let my feelings take control. It's heaven and hell, except I'm starting to think there's a part of this story I'm missing. Aston. I made myself walk away from Blakely after my family's dirty laundry hit the news. My father's secret family complicates everything. In order to keep our inheritance intact, we're forced to do monthly dinners with both sides of the family, the brothers I grew up with and the new set of siblings we never knew about. An additional obstacle, Blakely is my new sister's best friend, meaning the moment I give in to temptation, I not only risk the woman I'm falling for, but the family legacy just starting to reveal itself. But Blakely is worth it. I just have to prove I am as well. The Forever Rule is a missed connection, workplace, big city meets small town romance featuring these two. Each book can be read as a complete standalone, and a happily ever after is guaranteed. And that's all we have for today in romance. Better than the last couple weeks because of the holidays. Tomorrow we'll look at fantasy and science fiction, and if there's not enough of those, we'll look at some of the danglers from the last 3 days, couple days. Well, I must go face the winds and the snow. Hope you guys have a good day. Again, I don't have any sprints tonight, but we will have them tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Hope you are reading good books. Mary, stay warm. Thanks so much. Glad to be back. Had a beautiful sunrise this morning. Oh, I love the winter sunrises. Oranges, pinks, yellows, blues, whites, and the wonderful rays that show all. Oh, I love that. Nice way to start the day. People who are not morning people miss these things. I love it. I will. Happily, the new car is 4-wheel drive. So I'm just shorter. Yeah. Thank you, Mary. All right, everybody. Have a good Wednesday. See you soon. And as the banner says, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom, nom, nom. Have a good day and God bless.